Football Prizes sponsors Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Football Prizes gives you the chance to win the very best prizes the beautiful game has to offer. This is your chance to win a Borna Barisic signed and framed Rangers shirt for just £3.95, plus 10 additional chances of landing an instant win prize with every ticket purchased. Use code Club at 22 for 10% off your ticket. Go to footballprizes.co.uk or click the link in the description for this podcast to get your tickets. Hello everyone and welcome back to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. A change of days with this coming to you on a Monday, but that is because of the small matter of a Champions League playoff tie against PSV tomorrow night. I am your host Scott Carney and joining me is everybody. Ali, how are you mate?
Very well, looking forward to tomorrow night, looking forward to hearing the Champions League music as well. So hopefully work just disappears quickly tomorrow and get along to the game.
It won't. Definitely won't. I know. Scotia, how are you, mate? Nice hat.
Cheers. I've not had my hair cut, everyone. Don't worry. It's just one of those days that the hat was needed. But no, I'm good. Back in my normal spot as well because it's an awful lot cooler where I usually record now. So back to my usual spot.
Yeah, and Ryan, how are you, mate?
Oh, good. I was just a wee bit distracted there when we first started recording because I was securing my ticket for the Borna Barisic signed shirt there. So that's me. Name is in the hat. Let's hope I get my hands on that shirt.
Oh, I know, mate. I know. I'm not going to say too much about it, mate, because they're sponsoring the podcast, so I can't say too much.
I'm on it. I am on it.
Yeah. So, something a wee bit different tonight. It's been a while since we've done Club Deck Corner, and we really are just going to concentrate on what is a massive game tomorrow night. And you can see by the hype and the build-up and the amount of media, the countries that had representing media at the press conference today, just how big a game this is going to be. Before we do get started, and I know sometimes we turn into GBX, but there's a lot of people I need to shout out because I forgot recently, so I'm sorry. First off, Mitch, thank you very much for the 4 coffees. He bought the pod via the buymeacoffee.com website. Next is John and Colin, who both very kindly bought me and the lads a beer on Saturday while we were in the Viceroy. Really appreciate it, and it's still all a bit surreal when this stuff happens and people want to buy us a pint, but honestly it's really, really appreciated. And Jim Sloan, he donated via the live chat on Friday's preview pod, but we only seen it just as we came off air. So Jim, thank you very much for supporting the pod that way. It really is much appreciated. Is there anything else, lads, before I move on from that?
I think so. Yeah, that's them all.
Yeah. No, I think that's us. Yeah, I think we've done it. Yeah, I think we've done it. So hopefully that's me all caught up and nobody's fell out with us. Right, so yeah, this episode is really all about PSV tomorrow night. Not that I need to 180 minutes away potentially from getting back in the Champions League group stages, which would be something rather spectacular. But we're going to be up against stiff competition, that's for sure, against PSV as they travel to Glasgow tomorrow night to play the first leg at Ibrox. Before we get into talking about the individual teams, Ali, I know this is maybe a bit of an obvious question, but what would it mean to you as a Rangers fan to see Rangers back in the Champions League group stages?
No, it'd be massive. It's what we wanted last season, and we had a right good chance of doing it, but obviously, unfortunately, we didn't. But no, it's massive to be back there, not just financially, but the glamour of being in there with all the big teams, because you always want to get a big team in Champions League. So it's it's huge. It's going to be very difficult. They're a very good team, PSV, no walkovers, but just to be there would be brilliant. And not even just to be there, but I want to be there and compete with some of these teams like we did last season. So, please Rangers, get there. And then take as much money off you as you want.
They will. Trust me, that's already in the pipeline, mate, if it happens. Scotia, same question to you, mate. It's kind of where we're meant to be, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, like Ali says there, it is massive. I mean, we keep on talking about sort of getting back to where we belong, and I think getting to the group stages of the Champions League is that last box that we need to tick off. So it'd be huge because it was Walter's last season. It was the last time we were in. in the group stages there, and I remember the games I was at there, they were really enjoyable. A wee bit disappointed in the Man U game we had, because I think Rooney scored a penalty with 3 minutes to go or something like that. But it'd be great to be back in there, because the Champions League nights, they're something completely different to Europa League like nights. We've been getting used to them, really enjoying them, particularly the ones in the later stages of the competition. But it'd be absolutely gigantic, and like Ali says, to play against some of the top teams, Real Madrid in a competitive game, I would love to see, getting to go to the Bernabeu and things like that. So it would be a huge if we got there.
Definitely, yeah. Ryan, we are going to hear the Champions League music. I do think that's slightly premature, not complaining. I think it will give Ibrox an unbelievable lift when we do hear it. But we're there and not there all at the same time, I suppose. But without being too cliche about it, mate, it would really be the end of the journey, if you like.
Yeah, it's been a target for the club for many years, just to get back to this, get back to Champions League football and get back to the table with the big clubs. And as I do genuinely believe it's where we belong. I know we probably looked last season and said we are a Europa League team, but stature-wise, Glasgow Rangers should be in the Champions League. I don't care what anyone says. I know you have to have the quality nowadays and you've got to have the money and whatever, but the star part of the UEFA Champions League's logo is one of the stars that represents Glasgow Rangers, and I agree with you. I think it's premature than music. However, I cannot wait to hear it at Ibrox tomorrow, because as soon as that music finishes, the roar you'll hear will be as loud as anything you've heard, and it sends a shiver up my spine just talking about it. What it means to me is colossal. It's everything. It's just part of the journey again, part of us winning our first league title again, getting back to where we belong. Yes, it's a wee bit sour grapes that the other half get to just swoop in there and drop into the group stages when they've done little to their coefficient. But listen, we'll do it this way, and I believe in Rangers. I do believe that they can beat PSV over 2 legs. I believe that we can do it, and I am absolutely buzzing for tomorrow night. I cannot wait.
Yeah, you mentioning that there, mate, when the music does stop, that literally had the hairs in the back of my neck standing up there, because that roar is going to be special. It really is. But I would go along with that as well, mate. I think this team have kind of got a proven track record of lifting the game against the bigger the team, the bigger the name of the team. I think that they've definitely got it in them. And with Ibrox now being the way it is on European nights, which is, I think we always speak about Ibrox being a tough place to go, but I don't ever remember it in my lifetime having this much effect on teams coming to play here. And I think we are going to be just as much of a part tomorrow night as the players are going to be. The crowd are going to need to be ridiculous tomorrow night, which I have every faith in the crowd being. It's going to be a real great night, and it's good to be back involved in occasions in football like this. So on to PSV themselves. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said at the press conference today, PSV had a great game against Monaco to reach this stage. The desire PSV will have to reach the group stages is very similar. It's a big game for both clubs. I'm sure you will see PSV and Rangers giving the Rangers team giving it is set up for 2 great games. So the form, Scotia, they've started the season by beating Ajax 2-1 in the Dutch Super Cup, followed by a 4-1 win and a 5-2 away win in the first 2 league games. And obviously, as mentioned in the podcast, they had a bit of a ding-dong 2-legged tie against Monaco, which finally seen them run out 4-3 winners on aggregate. Be under no illusions, mate, this is going to be a tough game, but I can see Rangers getting chances against them based on what I've seen of them so far.
Yeah, did it not beat Ajax 5-3? Or did I read that wrong?
5-3.
It was 5-3.
Was it 5-3? Was it 5-3?
5-3 and Big Bassey gets sent off by the Cruyff Shield. Yeah,
that's right.
So yeah, they've scored. They've been scoring quite a lot. I think that's them scored 18 goals so far. But they also seem to be, like you were saying there, they do seem to be a wee bit leaky at the back. They've not managed to keep a clean sheet yet. I think sitting obviously 2 games into the Eredivisie and sitting joint top with Ajax on exact same sort of tallies everywhere. So no, there's a big team, and hoping we can maybe exploit their back in defence, because I think that's where their weakness is. It's up front. They look a bit risky, and I'm sure you'll get on to sort of certain players that they've got that could be cause us a few problems.
Yeah, there's going to be battles all over the pitch tomorrow night, Ryan. I don't think there's any great doubt in that. One man in particular, mate, is just going to stand out just now, and it's somebody that Rangers fans will be very, very aware of because we were linked with him, which seemed like forever, and he never ever came, obviously. And it's Veerman. And now, I believe, mate, he's probably playing at a level below where he should be. This boy's a real talent.
Yes, like anyone else, when he got the Facebook link to Rangers, I had a wee jump on YouTube and Googled him and checked him out and done my own scouting on him. Fell in love with him and then obviously signs with another team. Whether Rangers were interested in or not, and it goes the same way as Avi Simmons or Simons. You don't know. I always think these are Facebook rumours. There's a couple this summer as well, which you'll never know if Rangers were interested or not. But Veerman looks the real deal. He looks like it looks as if he keeps playing at the level he's playing at, it'll be a stepping stone to a bigger club. Now, whether that's in Holland or not, probably Ajax is only as big as you can go there, or Germany or Italy or England. But he does look as if he's destined for bigger things. But for me, we've seen better players than that. At Ibrox last year, for me, Jude Bellingham was the best player I saw against Rangers last season, and Rangers contained him. Yes, he scored a goal, but Rangers can do the job. These players can get caught up in the Ibrox atmosphere. It's so, I know there's a lot of spoken about it, but I've seen players freeze in this atmosphere, and I'm hoping it's the same tomorrow night. I'm hoping that we can just get the players who rise to the occasion. Yes, we need to play better than we have played, than we did play against USG, but I've absolutely no doubt that us as fans will turn up, so there's no question about that. But the players need to turn up as well, and they need to keep players like Veerman quiet, and they can definitely do that.
Yeah, Ali, Veerman is the kind of standout. He's the kind of the poster boys maybe have been a wee bit harsh considered on the rest of the team that he's playing with, but I do think it's a matter of time before he ends up probably in the Premier League, if we're going to be honest. I'd imagine somebody's going to come in and buy him, but it's going to be critical tomorrow night, I think, for Rangers to do their best to nullify his game.
Yeah, and a boy up front was Luc de Jong as well. Him up front for them too. He's a danger man too. And Ryan says Xavi Simons or Simons, whatever you say, he's there too. Obviously, he was linked with us last season too. But no, they'll have quality all over the park. PSV, not just the sort of three guys I rhymed off there who we're talking about, but there'll be quality all over the park with them. Gio, he'll know a lot of their players from being with Farnard, obviously. So I know Van Nistelrooy's just come in newly, but yeah, he'll know these players. It could suit Rangers tomorrow. I can't see PSV coming and sitting against us tomorrow. I think they'll come and not have a go at us, but they'll open up against us and play football. I just can't. Just looking at their previous form there, and you look at it, score a lot of goals, but do concede. So I really think they'll come to Ibrox. They'll fancy beating us tomorrow at Ibrox, and I think they'll have a go at us, which, as we say in this all the time, suits us. But in terms of Veerman, yeah, you need to keep him quiet, but there's 10 other guys in that park. They're just as good, to be honest. So, well, every one of the Rangers players will need to be on their top game tomorrow.
Yeah, Scotia, everybody knows I am an ignorant football fan. I really only watch Rangers. I don't tend to watch any other team, but for this I have actually looked in a wee bit more into PSV, and tactically, mate, it does look like they're kind of 4-3-3, the usual Dutch setup as you would expect. You that going along the same lines of Ali, that they'll come here and do their best to get the result, or are they going to do a Rangers, mate, and just make sure the tie's alive for the second leg?
Muted.
And Scotia's got himself
honestly, another blooper.
Honestly, you can't get through. This is quite a serious podcast for us as well that we're doing. We don't usually do something like this. Scotia has to get his blooper in there, doesn't he? Right, Scotia, continue.
Yeah.
Take two.
No, what you were saying there, I think it's going to be a very interesting game because both teams, I think, set up very similarly, play very similarly. I'd like to think we're a wee bit stronger defensively than they are. But it's difficult to judge because the quality of teams that we're playing against, they don't really come out and attack us. I think was what keeping an eye on their game result against Go Ahead Eagles on Saturday there, because I was quite interested to see what that scoreline would be. But Go Ahead Eagles got a boy sent off after 30 minutes, and then they went away and ran out 5-2. So I think the tie was only sitting at like 2-1, or 1 each by the point the boy gets sent off. But the way that they set up, like I said earlier, they're very top heavy in terms of their quality players being up front, like you guys have mentioned, Simmons, Veerman, De Jong. But it'll also be interesting to see the PSV press conference, which is some point later tonight. I think they're doing that at Ibrox, because they've got the boy in the left wing, Cody Gakpo. And he was really good for them last season, get really good numbers. But I know he's been heavily linked with Man United. Mm-hmm. And obviously there's only a couple of weeks left of the transfer window, so it'll be interesting to see if I'm assuming he will be along, because he's one of the better players. So no, looking forward to this game.
Yeah, don't know if I'd want to go to Man United for anybody that's seen their result of the weekend. That was a laugh to watch after the football on Saturday. Ryan, I am more than sure Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is going to be done his homework here, and I suppose it probably is going to take maybe not a master stroke from Gio, but I don't think it'll be far off it in order for Rangers to get through this tie.
Everybody's got to be on their game, from the goalkeeper right through to the management to the coaching staff. Everyone's got to get it right. It's got to be. I look at this game the same way I looked at the Dortmund game, and I said to you before the Dortmund ties, I said I think there'll be goals here, and I think there's going to be goals in both these ties. I really do. I think quite evenly matched teams. You would probably think PSV will maybe get slightly better quality, but then you think of us maybe underselling Rangers as a football team, because we got a Europa League final last year, and that's no mean feat. So I just think that I think Gio's got to get it right. My only thing would be that I think PSV won't do what Borussia Dortmund did and underestimate Rangers. I think Rangers' reputation is high in European football, and after that run, if everyone in European football was watching us last year and watched that run, and I think PSV will know what to expect, especially at Ibrox. Everyone knows the atmosphere we turned the Leipzig game round. So I expect Gio will have to get it right. But I agree with Ali. I think PSV will come. They won't come and sit in and think, right, let's just take this back. They will attack Rangers at points in the game, and they will have a lot of the ball, which Ibrox does not like. As you know, people behind me do not like anyone touching the ball in the opposition, even though it's a game of football. But they will have a lot of possession at times, and they're going to threaten us. So we need to be on our game. And yes, Gio has to get it right, but it's just one of these games that I always say it. We need to be on our game to get where we want to be, and it's literally just, it is bring it on. It is bring it on. These are the games you live for. So the way I look at it is Rangers have got to be on it. If they're not on it, then they'll be out.
Yeah, Ali, Ryan makes a real good point there, that we've got a tendency as Rangers fans, once we're up against a kind of name in European football, that we do start to undersell our players. There is no doubt we've got quality within this team, probably much more quality than we will allow ourselves to accept, because that's just the nature of the way Rangers fans are. We always think we're maybe not going to be good enough. I don't want to get too carried away with ourselves. That's probably more what I mean. But I think it's important for these players to fully believe that they can do the job tomorrow night.
They should believe. We were in a Europa League final last season. They definitely should believe, and they were extremely unlucky not to win that final last year. But yeah, I mean, you look at PSV. They were in the Europa League last year. PSV get knocked out in the group stages, fell into the conference, and Leicester eventually put them out 2-1 in aggregate in the last the quarterfinals. So yeah, we should be confident going into it. That's what annoyed me about Rangers against in the first leg in the last round. I thought we went in and didn't believe in ourselves at all. When we were European finalists, which is bizarre, we should be going in there extremely confident. We do have good players in our football team. It is starting to click now. You can start to see the Tillmans, Lawrence's. It is starting to click now. You can see each week we watch Rangers now, there's an improvement, which is good. And we're rolling into this team. But yeah, they're a very good team, PSV, but we are just as good, if not better than them. So it'll be a tough tie, but we should be confident, especially at Ibrox, and you've got all us backing them there as well. And you've seen the European nights of last season, so we should be confident going into it tomorrow night. And I'm confident going into it tomorrow night, but obviously not too confident as Rangers fans are. But I'm confident we can get a result in the first leg because we should be able to.
Just don't come out with things like Rangers.
I won't make any statements. Don't you worry.
None of that tonight. Ali, I'll come back to you. Obviously, it was confirmed in the press conference that Sands and Kent are now going to be available. So we've got a full European squad available now. Who and what is going to be key for Rangers tomorrow night in order to get a result?
Who's going to be key? Probably the spine of the team, starting for Goldson, because I think he'll need to marshal that defence. Whoever's beside him on the left-hand side, obviously you'll come on to who the teams are going to be. Lundstrom to dictate the midfield, and probably Cholak to put the ball in the back of the net, along with Ryan Kent, who is a tin opener for me. They'll be scared of Ryan Kent. Not scared of Ryan Kent, but they'll know Ryan Kent is a major danger man because they would have seen him last season in Europe. But the spine of the team for me is key. The three guys I kind of round off along with Ryan Kent, but that's the key players for me tomorrow night. Yeah,
Scotia, it's hard to disagree with Ali there. I do think there's going to be a lot of players are going to need to be on their game, but John Lundstrom, Goldson, Kent, for me especially, Kent, I hope is fully fit and he's completely on his game because I think it could be crucial tomorrow night. What's your thoughts ahead of it, mate? Are you along the same lines as that? And also, what tactics do you think Rangers will deploy here? Do you think it's going to be our usual or Ryan's usual attack, or is it going to be maybe more like Dortmund at home?
Well, I do disagree with yourself and Ali slightly. I think it's the whole starting 11 need to be on their game tomorrow, be on their A game, as it were, because you look at PSV. I mean, they get knocked out in the playoffs, the Champions League. It was Benfica beat them last season. Like Ali says, they got to the quarter-final of the Conference League, which we've probably kind of joked at and laughed at it a wee bit, probably called because it's called the Conference League. But when you get to that stage of the competition, they were all good teams, and the teams that were the finalists, Roma and Feyenoord, they're sort of latter stages Europa League teams, you would think. So yeah, I think for us, we all need to be, the whole team needs to be on their game, carry no passengers. How will Gio set up? It's an interesting one because Ali kind of alluded to what he'd done in the USG game, that he went out, and I said a couple of pods back as well, like as if we were playing against a Bayern Munich or a Barcelona-esque team. The way that he'd set up, first game away from home, this time it's at home, and I know Gio would get asked in the press conference how he approaches that, because the only other occasion this has really happened to us was the Red Star game. The Red Star game, how we were at home first and then away. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with it. But I think Rangers kind of need to play a wee bit of balancing act of playing to our strengths, but then also being wary of what PSV are going to do. So I would expect that's the tactics that Gio will use, and he'll set his team up accordingly.
Yeah, Ryan, I think Gio kind of touched on it in the press conference that he's not scared to change things, Gio. We all know that, but I almost think as well that he, like Scotia says, he will name a team that he knows that he can adapt if he has to, because I think you'll wait and see what PSV plan to do. Either way, mate, it's quite an interesting tie.
That's what I love about Gio. As you say, he's not scared to change it, but he's so stubborn as well, and it's what makes a good manager. Our best managers in our history, our lifetime. If you think Advocat and Walter Smith, they stuck with their guns, and it didn't matter what the outside noise was and what people thought if such and such should play this game or that game. Gio will go. I'm confident with Gio's tactics, and I agree with Scotia. I think that there will be an element of, yes, it's always a party line to say it's about what will you do, but I think when you come to this level, you've got to be thinking about the opposition. You have to. And as I said, they're going to have a lot of the ball, and it is mouth-watering because they will come and try and play football and have a lot of possession. But, I think I agree with Scotia on that as well. I think every player's got to be on it. And it does feel like our Rangers, but I keep referring to it, but this Rangers Borussia Dortmund game, I do feel as if there's going to be goals at Ibrox tomorrow night. Goldson, the back line, as Ali said, the back line of our team, the backbone, of our team has to be on it. If you think of Tav, Goldson, even McLaughlin, who I think will be in goals tomorrow night, Lundstrom, Cholak, they all have to be on it, giving it 100%. And I would love to think we'll be sitting here the way we were after the Borussia Dortmund game and saying, who do you give man a match to? It's got to be one of those nights where you could give the man a match to 6 or 7 of them. That's the kind of night it has to be for me.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I almost don't want to, but I get the nervous feeling in my stomach, mate, when I think about there is going to be goals in this game, and there will be ups and downs. It'll be hold on to your seat stuff. I think I can't see it not being like that. And of course, now that I've said that, it'll be the most boring nothing each draw you'll ever see. But I would probably take nothing each. But I think there's goals in this game. I do. I just can't see how there isn't with the way that we chose to line up. And I don't think Gio's ever going to get caught out. I would hope he won't after the first leg against USG, that he won't overthink a team anymore. He will obviously pay them the respect that they are due, but I don't want Rangers to fall into the trap of paying them too much respect just because of who their name is. I think it's quite a fair matchup. Generally, I think both teams have quality players, and I think it's going to be a bit of a game this. And I know there's other games on tomorrow night, but I would be shocked if we don't get pretty massive viewings for the game tomorrow night. That is for absolute sure. Right, on to the important bit. I think we'll do our team. Scotia, pen at the ready, mate. Take your pad, take the names down, see if anybody can actually get one right. Alistair, you can go first, mate. Who is your starting 11 tomorrow night, and what is your score prediction?
McLaughlin in goal. Backline of Tav, Goldson. I think he has to start Davies because he started at the weekend, so I'm starting Davies. Ryan's best pal, Borna Barisic, is in the left back. Sitting Lundstrom, Kamara just to the side of him, Lawrence, and a front three of Kent, Tillman, Cholak. And the same as you, Carney, I think both teams will score tomorrow. Good thing is the away goal doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to go 2-1 Rangers and Ryan Kent first goal scorer.
I'll take it, mate. I will take that for absolute sure. Scotia, you can go next, mate. Your starting 11 and your score.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm feeling pretty confident about tomorrow, but I would probably be more confident if this game was a week further down the road, just so that some other players could have got some times. But anyway, my team: McLaughlin, Tav, Goldson, Davies, and Barisic. Like Ali, I think Davies needs to play, and because Sands is on 2 yellow cards already, a booking tomorrow would see him miss the second leg. So I think Davies should be fine to start. My midfield is Lundstrom and Davis. And then right, Tillman, Kent, and Cholak. I'm leaving Lawrence out because, again, maybe he's on the 2 bookings as well, and I think he could be quite effective coming on off the bench.
Your score?
Oh, scored 3-1 Rangers. Tav penalty or score.
Oh God! Oh, honestly, Ryan, right, you can go now. I'm getting so nervous talking about this, man.
I am just about the same as Ali. I've got a different midfield, though. I think
You get Barisic at left back.
I've got McLaughlin. I've got Tavernier, Goldson. Oh no, I've got a different team. I don't know why I said that. I think he'll go with Sands.
Right.
I think he'll go with Sands just because he played in the USG game. I didn't see Davies on Saturday. Obviously, I wasn't at the game. But I don't know. I don't know if he'll just go with Davies. I don't know if it's a risk playing him so early in a big match like this, if he still needs to get up to speed or not. But I think he'll play Sands, and then he'll play Borna Barisic at left back. Go on, Borna. You can do it, Borna. Then Lundstrom. I think he'll play Kamara. I think he'll play Arfield. I think he'll play Tillman, Kent, and Cholak. And I'm going 4-0. No, I'm going 2-1. 2-1 Rangers. Cholak first goal.
Who was your first goal on Saturday? I can't remember. We couldn't remember who you picked.
Cholak.
Back to check.
Cholak.
Was it Cholak? Was it Cholak? So at least your 4-0 came in, mate. You've been saying it for long enough, so your 4-0 came in. Yeah, I'm different again, which makes this all very intriguing because I think every kind of Rangers fans probably got a different idea of how this game should be approached. McLaughlin, Tav, Goldson. I think Davies will play. Barisic will play. I think if Yilmaz had any chance of playing, he would have played on Saturday. I just can't see how you would put him in a game like this now. I think Lundstrom, same as Scotia, I think Davis will play. And then I'm going Tillman as the middle player, Kent Matondo on the wings, and I'm going Alfredo Morelos through the middle. I think Morelos could be his night. If a game is made for Alfredo Morelos, it is this tie. It is this tie. And I feel terrible, genuinely terrible for, like, I'm saying terrible as if I'm actually making the decision of picking the team, but not putting Čolak in because he's done nothing to deserve that. Generally nothing to deserve that. But past experiences with Alfredo Morelos, big European nights, kind of seem to go hand in hand. So I think Morelos could come back in. And I think Matondo will play. And the only reason I think that is I think on the counter-attack, Rangers might get some luck. And that boy is very quick. So I think there's going to be space for him in behind. But interesting, very interesting teams. I'm going to go 3-2 Rangers. And I'm going to go Alfredo Morelos to score first. I think this is honestly, if I'm going to leave Ibrox tomorrow night knackered, that is for absolute sure, as if we've played the game. But I cannot wait for it. I really cannot wait for it. Remember, if you are going to Ibrox, the club have asked that everybody wears blue. So if you've got something blue, I'm sure you do. You're a Rangers fan. Pretty much everything I own is blue, black, or grey. It doesn't really seem to change from that. So if you can, wear blue tomorrow night. And yeah, Rangers, it's over to you. So yeah, shorter one than usual tonight, but it's because of the moving of club deck corners. It's usually on a Tuesday, and we could not bring you something ahead of this massive game. Just to make you all aware we're just as excited and nervous and full of anxiety and everything else that goes along with it, just as much as you are. So Ali, for tonight, mate, thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll make sure I leave the Viceroy early this time because I do not want to miss the Champions League music just for so in case I never hear it again. But no, I'll get along nice and early, so I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, Scotia, cheers, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Ali. What you've got to take into account that UEFA and Rangers have listened to our plea and moved the game forward 15 minutes just to make sure that we do get in time. So no, can't wait.
It's 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Oh, it's 8 o'clock. Yes, well remembered, Scotia. It's 8 o'clock.
That doesn't mean you get an extra 15 minutes, Scotia, in that podcast.
No, it's just that they'll give me time to get along.
Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night, everybody, not 7:45. And Ryan, thank you very much, mate. And I presume you're going tomorrow night, yes?
Yes, mate. I just missed Saturday because I had other engagements. Obviously, the wee man was playing in a tournament Saturday, Sunday, so priorities in that. I will be there tomorrow night, and you three better probably leave a bit now if you want to make that queue for the club deck, boys.
I'm driving tomorrow night. I know.
I know. Thanks, boys. I hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. I'll be in touch over text as always.
Magic. Yeah, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Remember, if you would like to support the podcast, continue to help us grow, you can join the channel for only 99p or £1.99 to really support us reach our next level. You can buy the podcast a coffee like Mitch did, and you can sign up to the coffee buying membership all via buymeacoffee.com. All the links are below for that. And as a thank you for sticking around to the end of the pod, if you go to 22merch.bigcartel.com and use the code podcast, you'll get 10% off your order. So yes, over to Rangers now, a massive European tie, the return of the Champions League music. Prematurely or not, we're still going to hear it, and that famous Ibrox roar will be ringing around Ibrox. I cannot wait. So as always, please do like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will be back with some form of reaction after the game tomorrow. Win, lose or draw, we will definitely be back with something. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Play up the famous Glasgow Rangers, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.